Act 4, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice. Shylock and Antonio appear before the Duke of Venice, and Shylock demands fulfillment of the letter of their contract. Antonio believes it is pointless to argue or try to reason with Shylock. The Duke hopes Shylock will relent and show Antonio some mercy, but Shylock makes it clear he has no such plan. He says he wants that pound of flesh because it is his humor, and he refuses when Bassanio offers him twice the sum of the original loan. Shylock compares his entitlement to Antonio's body to the way other Venetians feel entitled to do as they will with the bodies of their slaves and animals. The Duke calls in Dr. Bellario from Padua, as well as a man named Balthazar, Dr. Bellario's colleague from Rome. This Balthazar is not Portia's servant, but actually Portia herself in disguise. She first appeals to Shylock to show Antonio mercy because mercy is its own reward. She goes on to respond to Shylock's calls for justice by saying that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy. Shylock remains unmoved and stays unmoved, even as Bassanio offers to pay twice or 10 times the sum of the loan. Portia then bids Antonio to prepare for Shylock's knife, but when Shylock approaches Antonio with the knife, she stops him and says that the bond allows him a pound of Antonio's flesh, but it does not allow him any drop of Antonio's blood. Since it's impossible for Shylock to take his pound of flesh without spilling blood, Shylock is found guilty of conspiring to commit murder against a citizen of Venice. The Duke spares his life and instead takes half Shylock's fortune for the state and gives the other half to Antonio. Antonio asks the court to drop the fine of half his goods to the state and says Shylock should keep the half of his fortune handed to Antonio as long as he leaves it to Lorenzo and Jessica upon Shylock's death. He then requires Shylock to convert to Christianity. Shylock agrees to these terms and leaves the court. Antonio is freed and thanks this Balthazar fellow for the assistance. Portia, in disguise, asks for Bassanio's ring, the one she gave him when they were wed. When Bassanio refuses to part with the ring, she scolds him and takes her leave. Antonio then convinces Bassanio to send the ring to the legal scholar. Bassanio sends Gratiano to catch up with the disguised Portia and give her the ring. Antonio's trial represents a confrontation between ideas that define the religions at the heart of the Merchant of Venice, wherein Judaism is a religion focused on rules, following law, obedience, and justice in the form of punishment and atonement for wrongdoing. But Portia, the Duke, and others represent the Christian ideal of mercy and salvation, even for those who do not deserve it. The themes of prejudice and mercy are most obvious in this scene. Jews are not portrayed kindly in the play, and Shylock is left a broken man despite the mercy Antonio shows him.